Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about boosting your motivation to lose weight, because if you're not losing weight actively and you want to, it's almost guaranteed because you're not motivated and you're not doing the right things you need to do long enough to get the results. And again, it comes back to the fact that you're not really motivated. So how do you boost your motivation? The first step is you have to realize you're not motivated. Okay. And so to prove that point, if I said I'll give you $1 million if you lose weight this month, do you believe you'd be able to lose weight? Is there another gear you could put yourself into to get the results you want? And most people say yes, absolutely. And so that's the first step, is to realize you're not really motivated. Just because you think about it all the time doesn't mean you're really, really motivated to make it happen. So that's the first step you got to do, is to realize, oh, well, I'm not really motivated. I'd like to do it, but I'm not really motivated to make it happen. Great. So how do we boost the motivation? The next step is to realize that the way you're trying to motivate yourself ain't enough. And it's not enough for most people. How are you trying to motivate yourself? Well, I don't know you, but I bet it's you want to look better. And wanting to look better is not enough motivation for the average person. Yes, it would be cool to look better. It'd be cool to wear the bathing suit to the beach and look good in the dress, but it's not enough motivation. Don't believe me? Why aren't you losing weight then? Back to the first part. So how do you actually boost your motivation in a real way? You have to find deeper reasons. You have to attach your weight, your eating, your lifestyle to bigger reasons to change it than just wanting to look better. And the way most people figure this out that I work with is you usually will make it about the roles that are most important to you in your life. So usually it is if you are a parent, a partner, a child, and you're concerned with your parents, an employee, a worker, and your relationship with yourself. Who do you want to be? These are usually the starting points of truly finding a much deeper level of motivation. And if you are a parent, for example, and again, you can insert whatever role is most important to you in your life. But let's just say you're a parent. What we want to start doing is recognizing how your weight is negatively affecting your ability to be the parent you want to be. And it has nothing to do with how you look. Your kids don't give a shit how you look. What it matters is you feeling bad about yourself, you having low energy, feeling uncomfortable, the physical effects, the mental, emotional effects of the weight, of the food you keep putting in your body, of the lifestyle you're leading, and recognizing how those things are impacting that role that's most important to you. So if it's being a parent, how is your weight and how you feel from your weight, physically, mentally, emotionally, and from the food and lifestyle that creates the weight, how is that negatively impacting your ability to be the parent you want to be? And focusing on this absolutely can be painful, but it's truthful. And you're going to find that there's a lot more motivation in there, because motivation typically follows the pain. And if it's being an employee, right, maybe you work for yourself and that's really a big focus of yours, it's the same question. How is the weight impacting that? And again, not how you look, but how you feel physically, mentally, emotionally, and from the lifestyle and eating you're doing to create the weight. How is that impacting your ability to run the business you want to run? Or if it's being a partner, same question. So whatever roles are most important to you, what do you spend a lot of your life focused on? What's really important to you in terms of what do you do consistently? Then ask the question, how is my weight affecting that? Because of how I feel. And as you start focusing on this, you're going to realize that your weight, but really the way you're eating and the lifestyle you're leading, is probably having the biggest negative impact. It's probably the main thing holding you back from living the life that you truly want to lead. Not just in how you look, but in literally the most important areas of your life. You're going to find that this is one of the foundational pieces impacting it negatively. And if you started to take control of your eating, your lifestyle, and ultimately your weight, that the areas that are most important to you in your life are magically going to get way better, because now you can think clear, you have more energy, you have more stamina, you feel better about yourself, emotionally you're healthier, and all those things help you perform better in the areas of your life that are most important. So this is the beginning step of really boosting your motivation. If you do not have the motivation right now, it's not going to come from just really imagining in your mind how you're going to look in the bathing suit. It's just, that's never going to do it. It's not enough. You need to go deeper into the areas of your life that are most important. So spend some time with this, and I hope it helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Always love talking about motivation. What's up, Karen? How's it going? The motivation question. Talking a lot about that this week. That's why I wanted to bring it up. You know, so much of the process that I'm talking about is about becoming the best version of you possible. And yes, one aspect of that version of you is that you weigh what you want to weigh. But the main part is that your life is reflecting the life you want to lead. And I think a lot of people overlook this and miss this. Don't blame anyone. But I do think that it's one of the consequences of being raised in the diet culture, which we've all been raised by, you know? So you got to change the way you're thinking in order to get new results. And it all starts with right from the beginning of what's the point of this? Why do you even want to lose weight? And again, a lot of people walking around wanting to lose weight for reasons they don't really give a shit about, to be honest. You know, tell me you really care about how you look? Really? Like, I know you do, but do you really care enough to actually make a change? I don't know. You tell me, you know. What's up? That's Connie, right? Mrs. Sullivan, the official name. It's like your teacher name. Listening to the Dorito Effect on audiobook. That's awesome because that Dorito Effect book is good. I'm such a big fan of that book. I think it's one of the biggest ones that I have read this year. I really thought it was good. And it's because, in my opinion, it gets to the big picture stuff. Swallow This did the same thing. I didn't think it was the greatest book in the world, but I thought it was good in the sense that it talked about industrialized food in a way I haven't thought about it. And so I thought that was a good book too. But yeah, can't read enough books. I got some new ones. I got, what is it? White, Deadly, and I can't remember. It's about sugar. I told you I have no memory for book titles anymore because they all blur together. And but I will be talking more about that when I can finally friggin' read them. I'll try to get back on my normal schedule. My kid got COVID this week, so he's out of school, and that kind of threw the whole week off. So that's funny, but I'm so looking forward to getting back to my normal routine too. Perna. That's getting me because of the 2 R's. I'm used to like a Perna, but not Perna. Perna April. Will I go mad if I keep thinking about the lifestyle changes all the time? I think you'll go mad if you're constantly. I think you'll go mad if you're constantly criticizing yourself about not making lifestyle changes you want to make. Same with the weight. I think if you're constantly criticizing yourself and trying to analyze why you're such a mess and why you can't do anything and why you always screw up and why you're so lazy, I think that'll make you go crazy. But I think I am constantly focused on my lifestyle and what I want to do constantly. And I don't think I've gone mad. I'll leave that up for other people to be the judge of. But I find obsessively focusing on the lifestyle factors has been wonderful for me. So I think it depends. But then Perna says, I exercise regularly, eat clean, and still unable to lose weight. Well, you know, as we learned from Athena here, you can eat clean and still overeat calories. So my first question to you, Perna, is how long have you been exercising regularly? How long have you been eating clean? And eating clean and reducing the calories you consume are two different things. So have you been reducing the calories too? Because eating clean does not mean reducing calories. Eating clean supports you, I believe. Eating clean definitely sets the stage for eating less calories more comfortably, but eating clean, you can eat just as many calories too. So there's got to be a little bit more detail there for me to kind of know. 2 years, you've been exercising for 2 years and eating clean for 2 years, then that very clearly is you're eating clean, but you're consuming the same amount of calories, is what I would say. Because there's no way that you've been for 2 years exercising regularly and reduced your calories for 2 years and haven't lost weight. Molly says, Molly's not Molly though. I know that. Gen T. Motivated by wanting to not live only a long life, but one free of pain and being active. Don't want to be hobbling around like my mom and aunts. Yeah, absolutely. I think that is an absolute focus of mine. You know, my mobility and my physical comfort is probably front and center on my mind at this point, at my goal weight. And what that looks like is it's why I do yoga every night just to maintain. And I've been in the process of doing more of it, and I will continue to move towards that. But that is a main focus of mine, is to have now I will say that, Jen, is the what I would suggest to you is just a slight little tweak, right? but one free of pain. I think that's a good starting point, but I'd want to articulate what I want. So I certainly don't want to have, discomfort in my body and pain and all that, right? But I like to frame it in, I want to be comfortable. I want to have flexibility in my body. I want to have the strength to move the way that I want. I want to be able to be graceful, active, mobile, all of these things. And so these are the words I actually want. And it's just a subtle little tweak, but subconsciously it makes a big difference when we say, I want to be pain-free versus I want to be strong, comfortable, flexible, so on. I think both of those things they're similar, but they're different. And as a hypnotist, I think that I think every word's a hypnotic suggestion. So I like to pick my words very, very specifically and strategically. But I think you're right on the right path, Jen. I think that those are bigger motivations for you. It's a bigger motivation, folks, to want to live a long life where you're comfortable, where you're active, where you're engaged, where you're present. That's a much bigger motivator than wanting to wear a bathing suit to the beach. Does that make sense? I know diners are kind of like just hypnotized to the fucking beach bathing suit thing. It's like, how much is wearing a bathing suit to the beach going to change your quality of life? You know what I mean? For the average person, not that much. Anyways, JK says, after months of making clean food choices, I ate a pastrami sandwich in a restaurant and it gave me gas and a greasy feeling for the rest of the day. Is this progress? Yeah, I absolutely think it's progress. I think, and I'm glad you bring that up because it's important to realize that on this path, a lot of times the biggest leaps forward are when you make a mistake. You eat the wrong thing and you realize how shitty it feels. I could tell you, like, literally my whole path, the biggest kind of steps forward usually follow a mistake, and so again, the fact that you experience that firsthand is amazing. I tell this story all the time, but for me, I remember this like it was yesterday, even though it was 30 years ago. But I remember I'd started doing yoga at night, and I would do yoga at night for like an hour. I was really getting into it. I really loved it. And it was a brand new thing in my life. I used to just watch TV at night and whatever. So one night, it was right in the beginning, I was doing yoga. I sat down to do yoga and I'm doing it. I'm like, oh, I feel like shit. I'm like, oh my God, my stomach doesn't feel good. I don't feel good. And I was like, what's going on? And all of a sudden I was like, oh, you had a meatball grinder. You had a large meatball grinder for dinner. And I was like, oh, okay. But then the next thought, I was like, holy shit, dude, you eat meatball grinders all the time. You never felt like this. And I was like, oh, it's because I'm actually quiet with my body in a dark room as opposed to distracting myself with the TV. And I was like, holy shit, how many times have I eaten stuff and felt so bad and didn't even realize it? So for you, JK, I think that's a huge, huge progress to have the awareness to realize what you feel like. I feel like the vast majority of Americans anyways, they eat a lot of shitty food and feel like shit, but do not realize it because they're distracting themselves. Screens, TV, computer, any other ways that we can distract ourselves. There's a bunch of them. And I think most people distract themselves from it. They distract themselves from the consequence phase. And so they don't even realize what the real consequence is. And if you don't recognize what the consequence is, it's very difficult to make a change. So yeah, I consider that huge progress. And that's really been the story of my journey is recognizing when I've eaten the kind of the bullshit food or whatever to actually feel the effects of it. That's been absolutely instrumental for me to change my behaviors. Oh, there's Connie over on TikTok. Yeah, you prefer the TikTok format, huh? That's interesting. It's funny, I was thinking, I keep exploring this stuff. Like I said, this week I kind of screwed, but I wanted to almost like have a call-in show where I could talk to people. I think that would be fun. And I try to think of different ways to do it. But then I was watching people on TikTok can do that. So maybe on TikTok, I'll try that out and see how that goes. Guy said, I'm a calm monk. I'm a calm monk. I'm a calm monk. I won't let the frantic lunatic creep in. Very good. And don't just say I'm a calm monk, right? Calm your stomach down, connect to your breath, relax, and then say that. All right. What's up, Claudia? Claudia says, hello, Jim. I can't calm myself when I do shut down my emotions and go numb. Yeah, it's so funny you're saying that. I don't know. It's been this week. It's been so funny to me the last couple of weeks, but people in the program they're like freaking out when they're listening to hypnosis sessions. They're new. They're just starting it. And it's interesting that, that's kind of coming up, but it's real. It's real with meditation and hypnosis. Anything where you kind of quiet your mind and bring your attention inwards, for a lot of people, it's very it was for me at first. It was very overwhelming because what happens is you step inside your mind and you're like, holy shit, it's just like it's just all over the place and it feels overwhelming. And it can be. What I say to you though is it is a skill. It's something you develop, and I think it's a very valuable one. Because that's the starting point, is getting some peace when you're there and it's just chattering away. And then as you stick with it, you gain the ability to kind of quiet your mind down. And I think being able to quiet your mind down, being able to become aware of what's going on inside of you here and here, I know what life was like before that. It was fucking miserable in a lot of ways, to be honest. And I'm so thankful for it, because that was the doorway I walked through to be able to deal with a lot of emotional stuff and psychological stuff and behavioral stuff and identity stuff and just all sorts of things. So I get it can be challenging in the beginning. And I know that can feel overwhelming and scary, but the best advice I have for you is to stick with it, learn how to do it too. It's again, I'm certainly not the only way when it comes to meditation, hypnosis, quieting your mind down. There's a lot of great people out there teaching that. But I will say, like, when my clients come to me with this, I'm able to very quickly move them forward pretty dramatically. And so I think if you learn from other people, if you're able to work with someone, it's such a valuable, important thing to focus on and develop, I think. But it's not unusual, Claudia. So just stick with it, I hope, because I think it'll lead you to a lot of beneficial things. Yeah. And I do not have COVID. I tested this morning. My son does have COVID, and I've been around him a lot too, but I did not have it. So even though I'm sniffing here, I'm all sensitive to that now. Just gonna get through TikTok. I don't miss any questions here. KT says you can bring people on live with you on Insta too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I know that. I've done that on Instagram, actually. Maybe I'll do them on each and just see how it goes at some point. Yeah, maybe I'll just kind of randomly just pop on one of these, like where you can bring someone on. I'll see what happens with that. Jay Quell says, hi, I can't seem to make the right choices. It's almost as if I black out when I'm eating. Oh, I appreciate you saying that. In the Program Yourself Then we talk about eating trances. And I think that's a great way to think about it. You literally go into trances all day long, and there's absolutely eating trances. We're all multiple personalities, and it's important to understand that. And I think once you do understand that we're multiple personalities, I think it's helpful to realize that, because then you start to recognize you go into modes, and the version of you that goes and eats a bunch of stuff or binges, then you kind of come out of it. It's literally like two different versions of you. And I think that's at the heart of Program Yourself Then, is recognizing there's different personalities in you that have different behaviors that flow out of it, and learning how to integrate them and influence them. So you're not alone, Jay Quell, and don't feel crazy. It literally is like that. And I think that I find weight loss so frustrating in the mainstream, because I think weight loss in the mainstream dieters, they just think about things so superficially. Like the only problem you have is that you just don't know what to eat. So you need a meal plan, or you don't know how to work out. So you need a workout plan. And then there you go. That's it. Now just do it. And it's like, it's just so weird. I feel like in so many areas of our life, we're so much more aware of psychology and the deeper levels of things. I usually use substance abuse, where just say no is the answer in the 80s. And we look at that now as a not effective solution. But when it comes to weight loss, aren't we doing the same thing? I mean, isn't a diet basically just say no? It's saying this same brain that has caused you to be overweight for 30 years. Well, tomorrow's Monday, so you're just going to completely be a different person starting tomorrow. And now you're just going to be a keto person. And it's like, how do you just change yourself in one day? That idea to me is silly. And so what you talk about with almost feeling like if you black out when you're eating, I think there's a lot of truth to that. And that's the way I think about eating and behaviors. I think we go into different personalities, and we go into trances. And but it exists. That concept exists in a completely different paradigm of understanding the conscious, subconscious mind, how they act differently, and how to influence the subconscious mind so that you go into healthy eating trances more. So Anyways, but if you want to go deeper in that concept, and this is for anyone, is click the link in my bio, get the hypnosis session I give you. It's free. Watch the video I made for you though. And I think that's the key thing. And that'll give you a little bit more insight of why you do what you do. Because you dieters don't really know what you're fucking doing. You don't know. You think you're just one meal plan away from losing all the weight, you know? You ain't. Mario said I did some big backed activities today. What'd you do, Mario? It's starting to happen way too often now, but my weight stays the same. Well, after a few days, it goes back to normal. So now I feel like it's okay to binge. Oh yeah, Mario. That's everyone's got to go through that one. That's where I came up with the belief, and I believe this because I've lost weight. I started eating more. I thought, oh, look at I didn't lose any weight. I didn't gain any weight. Oh shit. Maybe my body's magically, I can eat whatever now. And I eat, and then I put the weight on. But I started to create this rule for myself that I tell myself that if I start eating better or worse, I give myself kind of 2 weeks. I feel like for my body, and I weigh myself every day when I was losing weight and I was really, actively changing it. But what I came to realize is that it kind of takes about 2 weeks for my body to show up the results of of a change I made. So if I start eating more, it'll take about 2 weeks for that to consistently show up. If I start eating less, it'll take about 2 weeks for that to consistently show up. And that time frame in my mind of having that has been crucial, really, really important, because it's so easy to overeat, step on the scale. Oh, I didn't put any weight on. Guess my body's magic now. I can eat anything. It's crazy our mind is, So yeah, completely normal, Mario, to go through that. And, again, what I want to say to you, Mario, is that you've lost a lot of weight and it's normal. You're in a stabilization period to some degree here. It's relatively easy. It's easier, I think, to be like really on track when you're actively losing weight because it's exciting to watch the scale go down. But once you get to your goal weight, it's a completely different process now because now you don't have the excitement of the scale going down. Now you normalize to the scale being lower. And now you have to find different motivations. And it's literally a different phase. It's a whole different thing, really. The difference, losing weight and maintaining weight are two totally different things. For dieters, program yourself in, it's the same thing, but it's still different. I mean, there's still different phases, but as a dieter, again, you're built around, you got to watch out for that, Mario. I mean, you're built around gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight. And that's there now. This ain't the first time you did it. And so it's there. And so, it's a part of figuring it out is becoming aware of it and understanding it, kind of stalking it. Rebecca says, I'm struggling with eating too late at night. Yeah. So, the thing is, eating late at night, I think that's a lot of people's things. Eating too late at night, that one to me is a big problem. And I say it that way, not to make you feel bad, but to convey how I think of eating late at night. And eating late at night to me is one of the worst habits simply because it's going to negatively affect your sleep. And when you negatively affect sleep, you're making everything else weight related harder. Oh, thanks for the roses, Rebecca. Everything gets harder when you eat late at night. And so I think that for me, that would be something I would laser focus on to fix. And the reason I make the distinction about the eating late at night piece is that my solution probably right off the bat would be, okay, I can eat at night, but I'm going to eat earlier at night. That would be my first phase. I'd want to give myself as much time as possible between when I stopped eating and when I went to bed. And I want to make that a wide window. And so that would be my first goal, is to eat earlier if I'm going to eat. And so I know you're probably getting trapped in like, okay, well, I'm not going to eat tonight. And then it gets late. Now you're really hungry. And now you're eating. So I bet there's a little bit of that going on. It's so hard. Rebecca, I think you're in the program. Are you in the program? I think you are. Let me know if you're in the program. So I'll gear you towards something. I'll steer you towards something in the program to help you out, because I want to be able to help you out. But it's without being able to talk to you about this. Oh, you're not in the program, Rebecca? For some reason, I thought I was going through some people. I was going through some customers yesterday, and I was for some reason I thought it was you. I don't know why, but it was another Rebecca, obviously. Anyways, so yeah, it's hard. Again, I never hold anything back. I never hold anything back from you guys, but at the same time, you're missing a lot of like contextual information. You know what I mean? And this process is so different than the normal diet mindset. So it's hard for me to say, oh, just do this, but that's what I'll say anyways. I'll just say that for now is I would want to keep a bigger window before when I stopped eating when I went to bed. So maybe practice that, don't eat too late at night, eat earlier at night, and then keep moving it forward and forward and forward and forward. That's a way to kind of go about it. I really do enjoy your lives. Well, thank you. I'm glad. Z says, after work is the hardest time of day for me, trying to break the cycle. Okay, great. Well, let's talk about that, because I think that the way you try and break the cycle is really interesting. For a lot of people, okay, after work is the hardest time of day for me. Now, first off, after work is a lot of time, right? Let's just assume you get home at 5 o'clock and you go to bed at 11 o'clock, right? That's 6 hours. So what's hard there? Is it hard as soon as you get home? Is it hard after dinner? I want to get specific. Okay. And that's the first suggestion I guess I would make. Mario said, did you request me? I did. It was an accident. I do that sometimes. I don't know why. Wait, are you stolen Shah? I don't know what's going on there. Z says, comes from a few things, goes back to childhood of getting home from school and being overwhelmed. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's great. Again, nice job, Z, with making food choices. My mom never had food in the house. Okay. So great job. Like, this is a good idea. What Z's doing here, and I've seen Z before. So it's like you're more aware of where some of these come from. And I think that's important. Again, we want to stock our bad habits. We want to stock our worst kind of behaviors and understand them first. And then the more we understand it, I think the better we can kind of customize a strategy, to resolve it. So you probably have a lot of food anxiety. You know what I mean? And so, there's food anxiety about not having food. That's absolutely a real thing. And the other side is they say it's also a lot of time left in the day, and I think I eat to pass the time. Yeah, there you go. Hey, great job. I think understanding this is really important. Now the question becomes not just stopping it, but resolving it. And resolving, let's just talk about the boredom eating. That one's an easier one. If you're eating to pass the time because you're kind of bored and you have better things to do, the solution isn't to stop eating so that you're just bored. The answer is to start doing things that pass the time in a more enjoyable, fulfilling way. That'll be a real genuine solution. And that'll at least get you started. Dealing with the food insecurity piece from childhood, that's a big thing too. But that's a more complex thing. So we'll put that to the side. But the first thing I would suggest is to start looking into ways and thinking about ways that you could pass the time in a more fulfilling, interesting, stimulating way for yourself. And if you start thinking about that, it'd be interesting what you come up with. KT says, I work from home and really struggle with eating during the day. As soon as I'm done working, it's easier. Yeah, the working from home, I get that one. I work from home. And so I get it. It's hard. I don't know. I don't, you got to kind of ask like big questions. So it's hard. I don't know. Maybe my mind's kind of shot a little bit here, but yeah, like grazing during the day when you work from home is a real thing. And so it's like, again, I'd love to help you out with that, but it's just one of those things that it's like, it's so, I'm not saying it's so big. Like, it's not like it's impossible to deal with, but it's not in the way you think. Cause you want me to say like, oh, let me give you some willpower tricks so you never do it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how dieters always think. And the reality is though, you need to kind of change. Again, it's the weight mastery pyramid we follow in Program Yourself Thin: mindset, lifestyle, eating. And so you need a holistic, comprehensive approach to change this. There's not like one little, think about the food and then think about, stepping on the scale. I mean, like, that's not going to fix it. There's no like little trick I can give you, the whole system's kind of broken a bit, if that makes sense, but yeah, grazing during the day is definitely a challenge. Zoya says, what can motivate younger people for added meaning to weight loss? Because joint pain and mobility are important. It feels like something in the future and you can't really take immediate motivation. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying because I know people are different, but for me, well, I guess, my father died when he was 54 of a heart attack. So for me, even when I was 19, that was very front and center. I'm like, I don't want to go down that path. And even though I was 19 at the time, 54 didn't feel that far away, so that's one piece of it. But I get what you're saying. I think still though, Zoya, like, what are your goals? What do you want to do in life now? I don't know. I don't know how old you are. I don't know what you're doing. Let's just say you're in college. Let's just say that. If I was in college, again, oh man, so much of me wish I could go back in time, know what I know now. Obviously, I think we all think that to some degree, but boy, would I love that. But let's just say you're in school, okay? And so the motivation, let's just say you're in school, college level. So you want to be there. It's really important to you. So again, this is how it doesn't matter what age you are, what's important to you in life, right? It might be getting a significant other. It might be finishing school. It might be your career, whatever it is. You pick that thing and you say, okay, how is my weight? And again, it's not just weight, it's the eating and lifestyle that creates the weight that affects the thing. And so let's just say school is really important to you. You're in college and you want to do well in school. What I like to do is I think, okay, how can I be at my best? Who's the best me as a student? How can I learn the best? How can I flow the best? How can I do the best? Set myself up for success, thrive at school. And as soon as you start thinking of it that way, how the fuck are you not thinking about what you're eating and your lifestyle is, right? Because it's like if you're eating shit all day, you're tired. I don't care if you're young either. Yeah, you're less impacted by it. I get it. But it still has an effect on you. And if you're overweight, it's in your head just ringing around. And all that mental, physical, emotional energy that goes towards the overweight stuff could be dedicated to school. And so I think that's a good way to motivate yourself. You know, again, whatever is most important to you, folks, your weight is negatively affecting it. And I know this is like a taboo thing to say because people are always everyone always, oh, my kids don't care what I look like. They love me for who I am. I didn't fucking say that. I never said that. I don't give a shit what you look like. To be honest, don't care at all. But I care about how you feel. I care about what you think. And you can't tell me if you're unhappy with your weight and then you're unhappy with yourself for being at that weight, and you're constantly living in that story in your head about how pissed off you are with yourself and how you feel like shit and how you're mad and how you're upset and how all this stuff. If you're in that all day long, every day, you don't think that's going to impact your ability to be the parent you want to be, the partner you want to be, the employee or entrepreneur you want to be? I mean, I'm all for body positivity. No one should be judged or biased against for their weight. I'm 100% on board with that. But at the same time, we can't act like there's no negative consequences beyond looks. And I think this is to me the main thing overlooked in our culture. And I think as you start focusing on that, I think it's very motivating. Well, it is for me anyways and my clients. So that's my suggestion, no matter what age you are, what's important to you. Ronnie says, how would you say that having good habits, lifestyle has helped you deal with problems that arise in your life? Oh, that's a great question. Oh my God. I'm going through it right now. You know, it's a tough time. I mean, my daughter just left from school and, it's hard. Like it's hard. It's a whole new life. You know, it's a loss. You know, I don't want to sound dramatic and shit because I am kind of sensitive and I've become more sensitive through this process because I pay attention to what's going on. I do a lot of meditation. I pay attention to what's going on in here. I do a lot of inner work. And I think that by nature makes you more sensitive to subtle things. So maybe I'm coming off as sensitive or, I don't know, too sensitive even. Because I know, hey, kids fly out of the nest. I get it, right? And I'm fine with it on one hand. I'll be fine. I'm going to be okay. But on the other hand, it's a dramatic change in my life. This person who's been in my life for 18 years is now no longer there every day. And it's someone I love and really get along with and love talking to and love seeing every day. We have dinner every day, and now it's gone. It'll be there sometimes, but it's now it's gone. And so it's a big thing for me anyways. And so how am I getting through it? I'm getting through it, I think, in a relatively positive way because I can talk about it. I can talk about it. There used to be a time in my life I couldn't even talk about any emotions. I was so overcome by emotions inside of me. I'll give you an example, and this is a personal thing. I remember one time I was 16 and I was talking to someone, and it was someone I just met, and they go, "How did your dad die?" And I go, "I don't know." I was so shut down with all those emotions. That's what I said. It's almost embarrassing me now, but I didn't even want to say it because I couldn't even go anywhere near those emotions. Just a roiling balls of emotion inside of me: anger, sadness, depression, pissed off, all this stuff. And so I started doing this inner work, and now I can interface with emotions. My daughter leaving, it's sad. I feel sad. I feel happy for it too. I feel those things too, but I feel sad partly. But I can say it to you. How can I say it to you? I wasn't able to do this. It's something I developed. And a big part of it is the lifestyle and the habits, I believe. And so I've been feeling emotional. I've been feeling depleted. And so what I've been doing this week, go to bed extra early, taking naps when I want to. So that's part of my lifestyles. I sleep more and I allow myself to sleep more when I feel depleted, when I feel kind of sad, when I don't want to think, I just want to go to fucking bed. So that's a big part. My water and hydration. I know that sounds silly. You don't think about it, but the water makes a big difference. It affects how your brain works, how your body feels. It becomes, it's my banky. It makes me feel good. When I don't feel well, I have things I can lean on, my habits, my relaxation and breathing. I've been doing extra relaxation and breathing this week. Why? Because sometimes I start getting anxious and tense and, upset about shit. I calm myself down. It's okay. And I feel better. My nourishment. Oh my God, my salads this week. Thank God. Because my eating hasn't been as good, but I still got my salads. I still got my core things that I eat regardless. And so it's not as clean as it normally is, but I'm still anchored down somewhat to my health. My movement. I've been walking my dog more. I got to get outside. I got to walk more. I got to do these things. So I rely on that. My meditation. I always do my meditation, but thank God, because it's just Christ. My brain's just spinning on hyperdrive and I meditate and it's like, it's just a break. Thank God. I love that break because it reconnects me to I'm alive. I'm happy. There's wisdom here, all this good stuff. And then my gratitude, so what I'm talking about is my 8 lifestyle habits we go through in the program in order of importance: sleep, hydration, relaxation, breathing, nourishment, movement, meditation, gratitude. Yeah. I'm sad that she's gone. And I'm so grateful that she's 25 minutes away. I'm grateful I've gotten to see her a couple times. I'm grateful that I got little texters that I can text her whenever I want to. I'm grateful that I've got this beautiful daughter and this family. I'm grateful for all. I could just go on and on and on. And it balances out the sadness and all the rest of it. And I can tell you, I know what it's like to live a lifestyle where I had none of those things. What did I do when I got upset? I stayed up late watching TV. I didn't want to go to bed and be alone with my thoughts. I didn't drink water. Relaxing and breathing. Nope. Didn't do any of those things. How did I relax? I get shit-faced. Nourishment? No, there was no nourishment. Movement? I played a little bit of basketball, a little bit of movement. Meditation? I didn't meditate. Gratitude? Fuck gratitude. I was so upset. The world is so unfair. Because how can you take my dad? That's not fair. Their dad. That's not fair. So that's how. So I'm giving you a specific example right now. And I can look over the last 30 years and there's hundreds and hundreds of times in life where I've felt like shit and I lean on my habits and they become the structure and the foundation that I can rely on and lean on. And so I use them constantly and will continue to rely on them and I'm thankful for them. So I hope that answers that question. Mario says, why do I always need that sweet treat? In caps. Mario. So dramatic, Mario. Why are you so dramatic? Do you always need a sweet treat? You eating sweet treats all day long? I'm joking with you. I don't want to nitpick your language, but anyways. Z said, you're so right. I really can't find anything stimulating for myself. I'm going to keep trying. Yeah, don't keep trying. Do it. Sit down and write a list of things that you have any even sort of mild interest in. And then pick the one that seems most interesting to you and do something related to that and see if it is actually interesting to you. That's a better way to do it than just be in your head and be like, oh, I hope something comes to my mind and I think of something. You got to dedicate yourself to finding stimulating things. I know it sounds weird, but we're conditioned to be lumps of shit. If you want to know the truth, we really are, because the more upset and unhappy you are, the more you consume shit. And so I think that, not knowing, like, I'm not picking on anyone because I've been in the exact same spot, but it's like having no hobbies, having nothing really interesting to do, I think is what we're conditioned to be like, because then we eat more, we consume more, all the rest of it. So it's harder than it seems like it should be to find stimulating things that interest us because we've never learned how to do it. And what I will tell you is, as I've walked that path of stepping into hobbies, committing to things, learning things, is that it takes effort in the beginning. And it's not like guitar. I'm thinking guitar, yoga, reading. I always like basketball a lot, but taking my dog for a walk, And just drawing things that I want to do at first, for some reason, are not as stimulating, because sitting and watching a fucking screen is the easiest, most stimulating thing we can do. It's so easy, and so it really, it sets the bar at a very low level. So doing anything feels like work, and then all of a sudden it feels like, oh, this isn't as fun. But the difference is afterwards. That's the big difference. The difference afterwards, when you actually draw a picture that looks like shit and you look at it, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. You get a little feeling, a positive thing, and you never get that feeling from scrolling or screen watching, and that's the difference in a nutshell. And we're conditioned from birth pretty much to not even ever really engage that feeling. Don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I believe this 1,000%. I think the school system, we're raised by fucking companies and corporations, and they condition us to be lumps of shit that don't really do much except consume screen stuff that makes us feel empty inside and leads us to consume actual things to try and fill in the hole. So that's my thoughts on that. Those sound pretty negative, but I just being honest, that's what I think. Well, it just says my family members expect me to take all their emotional baggage, and I really want to do good for them, but it's not letting me structure my life. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I get that. I get that. Managing familiar relationships and boundaries it's a crucial part of personal development, and it's challenging and hard work, but I think it's work well spent. You know what I mean? It's well worth the effort, As he says, you're not sensitive, Jim. Yeah, right. It's kind of a thing. What's up, Bob? And it says, I can't find that guy anymore, but he was on TikTok saying you're always making a choice. So it's not a habit or an addiction. It's a choice. I'm not sure about that. Oh yeah. The everything's a choice thing. That's a fucking assholes in my book. I can't stand that. And that's what I hate that. It's the David Goggins thing. You know what I mean? And again, I don't mean to put so much shit on him. I'm just using him as an example of what I'm talking about, because I think he's the extreme of that everything's a choice. And technically, you know what I mean? Like at a very, very technical level, sure, I guess. But in reality, I don't believe that. I mean, yes, everything's a choice, but your habits and your neurology and your environment and your past and experience, they create a lot of momentum for what you're about to do. And the idea that you can just, stop that momentum anytime you choose to, kind of willpower. No, it sounds great. And on a very, 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 very technical level, it's true. But in the real world, I think there's a lot more to it. And I think that, I'm all about how to influence yourself, but I think you need a more robust approach than just this is a choice, because that's the diet thing. I mean, that's what I'm so against. Again, on paper, every diet's great. Every diet, you'll lose weight if you followed it. Like you look at it on paper, like, oh shit, I'm going to lose a bunch of weight here. Yeah, you will, if you could follow it. If you were a robot, none of us would be here. You'd all just be the weight you want to be. You just plug in the diet you want to follow and you would do it. But then there's the part where you're a human. And so I find that shit and so fucking irritating to me, because what it does is it turns out it makes people feel bad. Again, because it is a choice. I don't want to act like you don't have a choice. I mean, there is that aspect to it, but there's also the aspect of being a human being, and that there's more to it too. And I think that that's what I'm trying to speak with you guys about, especially when it comes to the weight things. I always say this, that the worst part for me with the weight is that people live, they always say that most people live lives of quiet desperation. And when it comes to the weight thing, it's so true, because not only are you struggling with the weight, but the worst part to me is that you're constantly blaming yourself and beating yourself up for it, because you think it's just a choice. I should just do it. I got the keto plan. I know what to do. I just got to get myself to do it. I'm not doing it because I'm a fucking loser. And it's like, I hate that narrative so much. I despise it. And so, on a technical level, okay, yeah, sure, it's true. But on a real physical human level, it's not true. There's a lot more to it. And that's what I'm here for, is to show you that other way. You can, people say, oh, Jimmy, full of shit. Oh, fucking all this bullshit. Just make a choice. Hey, great. I'm not for you. Fine. This ain't for you. But I think there's plenty of that, especially with weight loss. And so I just try to give you a different perspective that there's more going on here, and there's a more robust way you can approach this and influence yourself, But I hear you, Mario, and I don't know. I don't know about that either. KT says, is he cutting out again every few seconds, or is it just me? You. All right, good. Because I know the other day it was me. I don't think it's me now. I don't think. All right. Or am I cutting out? What's up, Don? Don says, okay, back to weight loss efforts. I lost 16 over last year and going for 10 this year. Game on. Nice job, Don. Super proud of you. I love Don's approach very much. Carmel. I was going to say caramel. Carmel says, hi, I listened to your podcast for the first time today while I was on my walk. Great info. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, thanks for listening. Don't be afraid to leave me a little review. KT says, we get dopamine hits from likes and follows, though, right? Hence the evil of social media. Yes, it's true. But we get more of us get dopamine hits from scrolling. Okay. Let it be known. Yes. Likes and follows, absolutely dopamine hits. But the one that more of us suffer from is the scrolling, the nonstop scrolling. We're just looking for that dopamine hit, you know? Yeah, there it goes. Bob says, nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. My favorite. I will be clear. I always say nothing tastes as good as thin and healthy feels. I just want to be clear because if we say that, Bob, get in trouble. That's what Kate Moss used to say. And that is a mantra of people with disorders, and I've gotten a lot of shit for it. I never said it either anyways, but I just want to make crystal clear for all my people out there that I say thin and healthy. Ronnie says, I love you talking about all of this because diet culture makes us believe that once we get to that perfect weight, we won't feel any negative emotions. Yes. Aligning with your inner self and your habits allow you to metabolize emotions and not internalize them. For the growth. Yeah, agreed. And I think you're exactly right. The diet culture thing, absolutely. I tell you this all the time, guys, that diets are built around the marketing anyways, is built around the false hope syndrome. And one of the ways that false hope syndrome shows up is this fairy tale that you're going to lose the weight, get to your goal weight, and then everything's going to be magical. You'll never have to worry about weight again. You don't have to worry about your food again. And it's weird. It's not weird. I mean, I understand it from a hypnotic perspective and it makes a lot of sense, but if you really reflect, that's why I always joke with you guys that if you ever there's the easiest way to trigger a dieter who's losing weight is to ask them what they plan on doing once they lose the weight. And they get very upset about that. And I think they get upset about it because it reveals that they have no plan for maintenance. That's why in Program Yourself, then we start with maintenance. We start right from day one. Again, the goal with Program Yourself, then it's a weight mastery approach. And so the goal is to live at our goal weight and not just get there for a little while. How do I live at my goal weight for the rest of my life? That's kind of the main goal we're doing. Mario says, I've asked dieters that question, basically most of my friends, and they just say they will maintain. Yes, exactly. And, they never really get mad at it. Yeah. Well, I bust their chops a little bit more because I'll say, how are you going to maintain it? You're going to keep doing keto the same way? Or are you going to change it up a little bit? So fair enough. I should add that part in because I kind of bust chops a little bit. Not any malicious thing, by the way. You know what I mean? It's not that I am being malicious. I'm trying to set them up because I think there's nothing worse than putting all the effort and energy into losing weight only to put it all back on. I think it's one of the most devastating things you can do to yourself. It just sucks. And on top of that, it also kind of links you to weight loss is failure, because it only takes a couple times of losing a significant amount of weight and putting it back on before now you start to create the association that even when I lose weight, I fail because I'm just going to put it back on. And I would say another big difference, Mario, is that I'm talking to older people. People in their 20s will believe that. Why not? But when you ask someone who's in their 40s, who's doing a diet for the sixth time, who's lost a significant amount of weight and put it back on 3-4 times, then you ask them that, you get a different response. That's another piece of it too. But yeah. So anyways, all right, I got to get out of here. So if anyone is not in my world, make sure you go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session, watch the video. They're all free. Go read the emails. I send you emails every day. Got some new cool stuff coming out for those of you that want to get in my world, my programs, but you just haven't had the financial resources to do it. I do have a Program Yourself, then the hypnosis version coming. And I'm excited for that for you all that want to get some of the program. What's up, Athena? How's it going? So that'll be coming. I'm pretty excited about that. And then for those of you that are members in the program, you might start seeing if you want to continue with the program after that, there'll be some options there as well that, again, are much more financially doable for people. So I'm excited about that. So anyways, all right, everyone. And then the podcast is Program Yourself. Then listen to that. Follow me too. If you're listening to this and you're enjoying it, make sure you follow me, because you never know when new videos might pop up, and always, might help you out. So all right, everyone, have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.